Hello YouTube world, my name is Nicholas Montez and you're watching my YouTube channel, The Teenage Movie Critic, and welcome back to the YouTube channel everybody. And today we are doing another movie ranking with the release of the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, the new Guy Ritchie movie. We're going to be ranking all 15 of Guy Ritchie's movies. Now, keep in mind, I actually watched pretty much all of the other Guy Ritchie movies that I haven't seen last month, including, RockNRolla, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, Sherlock Holmes 2, and all the other ones. And I'm going to be completely honest, to start off with this video, I'm not a particularly big fan of his films. Mainly because the films that, in the way I placed them, it's more of the ones I particularly more enjoyed, but Guy Ritchie is not really my type of director. In some ways, his style can work if there's a lot of entertainment value to put to it, but when you look at the early years of his career, it just feels kind of weird. So, with that, let's start talking about Guy Ritchie movies. And to be honest, this, of all the Guy Ritchie movies, feels like the least Guy Ritchie has the least Guy Ritchie-isms. And honestly, it's a boring film about this couple on a beach or whatever. I don't even remember the movie, so it comes in last place. Next movie. Now this, I actually remember but I remember seeing this movie back in 2021. And honestly, and I believe it was leading up to either Wrath of Man or Operation Fortune, that film that came out in 2023 last year. And I wasn't an entirely big fan of this film. I think what really kind of drifted my... it actually had a pretty good cast, but honestly, it just kind of failed on all of what it was trying to go for, so didn't really enjoy it all that much. Now this one is kind of where the list becomes a little bit controversial because the second Sherlock Holmes movie is actually way higher up, but that's not really saying much because I don't really love any films on this list. With the first Sherlock Holmes, I debated, do I like this movie because it gets better as it goes along, but am I really liking this? And I will say, for the most part, it actually has some entertaining values. Obviously, I think Sherlock Holmes and our other guy work really nicely. You get a little bit of Rachel McAdams in there. The action is kind of well shot in the way it's done. It's kind of weird at times, but at the same time, it can be exciting, especially with Rachel McAdams' character. And so, yeah, there's some fun to be had, but I feel like it failed in trying to be a fun adventure with a couple of really cool action sequences. But otherwise, enjoyable enough, but very flawed. Now, Revolver, honestly, this is the part of the list where I just feel like the early years of Guy Ritchie all those movies just feel like they're the same thing with Jason Statham. It's like they feel like all the same movies, just different titles, and I don't really like it. And for me, Revolver is the one that just feels like the least interesting out of all of them. Once again, it's like Revolver, except I would say it's just a tiny bit better. Now, I will say Wrath of Man did kind of surprise me. But at the same time, it still has all the faults of the other Guy Ritchie movies, where it just once again, it stars Jason Statham, and you're doing all this shtick again, and it just feels kind of weird. But at the same time, I did kind of like it, though. Now this one, I actually did enjoy it. I thought it was going to be that movie with Ice Cube and Kevin Hart, but I realized it's a different title of a movie. This one was fine. with Henry Cavill being a spy, almost like he was in Mission Impossible. But overall, it was fine. So now this is the part of the list where I feel like it just all kind of combines together with Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. It's the first film that is of his filmography, and it's fine. There's nothing particularly special about this movie, but it's fine. Now, Snatch is another one like this, but I think it does it quite a tad bit better with having some cool action, but that's really all about it. Now, Operation Fortune, I would say, does a bit better than most of these other films, where it kind of did what Wrath of Man failed to do, where you star Jason Statham, who at this time was like famous for doing Fast and Furious or whatever, and you actually cast him in a movie like this with another Guy Ritchie movie where they're doing a heist, and he gets to do a little bit of action, and in Operation Fortune, that's what he does. He gets a little bit of action, but still some of the heist elements, and it's fun and exciting, and it's good. So, it's one of the better films for me. Now, Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. When I first heard about this movie, I'm like, okay, it's a war movie directed by Guy Ritchie, but somewhat based off a true story. I thought it was fun enough. I liked that we got to see Henry Cavill, Ritchie, and all these other characters, all these other actors fighting Nazis together. It's fun. It has that's why it's number 5 on my list. But you don't really get to learn much about these characters, and it kind of struggles to do what the other Guy Ritchie movies did, and kind of, having the greatness of it. But still a pretty fun movie that somewhat is based off a true story. Now, The Gentleman is actually a pretty good movie. I'm not gonna lie to you. It stars Matthew McConaughey, and I also watched the Gentleman series on Netflix, and it's actually pretty good. And this movie actually is pretty good too. It actually has a bit of good gun violence and shootouts, and the way that the style is done, it's done a lot better than most of the Guy Ritchie films. So this one, I think, in my opinion, while it's pretty good, it's the best version of fine. It's the best version of Guy Ritchie's style that he's ever done, in my opinion, of his okay movies. So that's my opinion on The Gentleman. Now, The Covenant was actually pretty surprised with this one. I actually remember it coming out last year, just a month after Operation Fortune, and it much like Swept Away, it feels nothing like a Guy Ritchie movie at all, as it's like a war movie, and it's also based on a true story, and the way that it actually is able to handle itself so seriously is actually kind of impressive. And telling this story about this guy that can't remember anything because he got shot out or whatever, or he got his head blown up so he can't remember anything. It's like, it does it in a pretty interesting way that I'm like, wow, that's impressive. And the way that he's telling all this cool stuff and, under crime world and everything, and he tells a story about a soldier that can't remember anything, but also based on a true story. I personally think he should do more of these gangster films, but have a serious element and possibly include some war stuff in there. I don't know. This is a pretty good movie. Now, unlike Sherlock Holmes 1, Sherlock Holmes 2 takes everything that was so good about the original film and in some ways brings a lot more fun, but also just has a lot of more exciting action. Where the first film kind of lacked when it came to the prison fights. I hated the slow motion in that. And in this movie, it still kind of has that, but all the action is in fast-paced moving forward, and it's awesome. And honestly, these are my types of movies. I like when we get detective stories, but we also get that action that is just kind of blown out of nowhere. That's my type of thing, and we get that with this movie. And for me, it delivered on what I wanted from a detective, spy action movie. Well, it's not really a spy, but it's more a detective action movie. I really enjoyed Sherlock Holmes 2. Now, of all of Guy Ritchie's movies, this is the one that has the least likely of all of his films, the least style of all of his. But I think that's what makes it fun for me with the remake of Aladdin. And honestly, I think he actually brought what was missing with all the other live-action Disney remakes, is bringing a sense of fun, where he was able to make a movie where he was able to bring the animated version of Aladdin and bring it to life with a great cast, and adding so much energy and fun to it, where everything is nostalgia based, with the music and the songs and the character lines and everything and all the scenes. But the movie's not just paying off scenes and nostalgia with music and everything. It also finds a way to make you care about this remade storytelling of this world, and all the sets and the costumes look incredible for me. I know some people say it looks like a Disney Channel movie. I don't care. I like it. But at the same time, while it is fun and the music is fun and you're having fun with the nostalgia of it, it's also just incredibly funny. Everyone is casted perfectly. I like this guy as Aladdin. The girl plays Jasmine. I thought she did pretty well. Dahlia is a fun addition to the film as like the best friend to Jasmine. You get Abu, you get Iago, who gets some solid one-liners in there, but not as much. Raja the tiger, he's cool. I think the big standout here is, of course, Will Smith as the genie. Obviously, when they announced him many years back, I'm like, this cannot be. And I'm like, I saw on the poster, I'm like, he's not blue. Why isn't he blue? And then we saw the trailer, and I'm like, oh man, I am so excited. And then once he started singing, I don't care if he sounded off, because he's known for just rapping. I do not care. I loved when he started singing "Never Had a Friend Like Me." To me, that song is my bop. You will see. I have my mom recorded me listening, dancing to it when I was like years old when the movie came out. Trust me, I have a ton of fun with this movie. This is one of my personal favorite Disney remakes. It's the one that is able to handle the nostalgia of the original film, but also able to have fun with this new retold telling of this story, and also finds a way to make you care about it, but also makes you enjoy it a whole lot. So for me, this is the Guy Ritchie film that I enjoyed the absolute most, so it comes in at number 1, and that is my ranking of all 15 of Guy Ritchie's movies. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.